There has been a major crash across the entire crypto market. We saw coins like XRP down more than 50%, but they've recovered huge. There's some major news announcements that I'm going to be covering in today's video, as well as going over some of the top crypto altcoins as well as Bitcoin to see exactly where the market is going to go in the next few days, the next few weeks, to the next few months. There's so much information to cover. Earlier today, coins like Solana had more than a 10% arbitrage opportunity here. Actually was posted where Solana on Coinbase versus Solana on Binance basically had a 10% arbitrage difference. And how you could have taken advantage of this opportunity is if you had USDT, you could have then sent it over to Binance, where it had it listed for $183. What you do is you purchase for $183 using that USDT. Then you'd send it over to Coinbase, getting that $199, so basically gaining more than 10% arbitrage opportunity. So if you bought in for, say, $1,000 on Binance, sent it over to Coinbase, you'd actually make $100, so you'd sell it for $1,100, and then you'd have USDT back on Coinbase. So you basically started with USDT on Binance, bought Solana, swapped it over to Coinbase, and then are left with USDT profit on Coinbase. There's nearly every single crypto. Here we'll go over Atom, which is one I wanted to cover. Atom USD. Actually, again, it actually depends on the exchange. So this is a great example here. We can see Atom USD actually only dropped around that $2.80. But then let me show you here on, was it Binance? Yeah, look on Binance. So we dropped to $1.55. And actually on another exchange, we dropped to less than $1. So look at the difference. So many different exchanges. Just right here, this is on Binance, dropped to $1.50. Now we can see the exact same drop on Coinbase, only dropped to $2.90. That's basically a 50% arbitrage opportunity. So there's an absolutely crazy amount of cascading of liquidations that really happen. To actually understand what happened today, the reason we had that major crash is because Trump has imposed his 100% tariffs on China. So that's quite significant. Obviously, that's really a major issue for global trade. China is the biggest player in electronics, clothing. They're basically the hub for trade. And if you're escalating with 100% trade tariff, well, it just seems a little bit nonsensical at this point. But really where the opportunity was in crypto was this massive arbitrage opportunities. So even what we can learn from today is actually there's a major opportunity in having KYC across multiple exchanges, because to be able to trade size on Coinbase, Binance, Kraken was another exchange that actually had some major arbitrage opportunities. So if we had all three exchanges, let's say we had Binance, Kraken, and Coinbase, we could have literally printed thousands of dollars, because after you've, say, finished that final transaction on Coinbase, you then send the USDT back to Binance, purchase a Solana, send it to Coinbase, and you just repeat that whole process again. So absolutely crazy that happened. Major reason that it happened is we had a cascade of liquidation. So this flash crash, when we actually learn about this, $19.31 billion was liquidated across the entire crypto market. To data from CoinGlass, nearly 1.7 million traders were liquidated in just one single day. So it's clear that, actually, again, Atom here isn't the best example. Atom, this really shows where everybody was liquidated, because let's say right here, you actually saw Atom was dropping, and even you saw it dropping here at $2, and you thought, oh, wow, Coinbase is at $2.80, but here we're at $2, and a lot of people are over leveraging. They're taking this position with leverage. This run has been something that I've learned the most about trading with spot and not trading with more than, say, 2 or 3 times leverage, because even actually 3 times leverage on this position, let's say you took a 3x leverage right up here, looking for a major push to the upside. A 3x long means a 33% push against you. You're going to be liquidated. And look at that. 33% easily was hit, actually up to 60%. So if you actually use leverage at all, you got liquidated. Because if you use 2 times leverage, which means a 50% move against you, would completely liquidate your position. So that's where we're learning, understanding to not use leverage in the long term, only on really short term, capitalizing on 5-minute, 10-minute time frame position, especially not on these 4-hour to daily, because any leverage other than spot on positions like Cosmos and other coins, really, you got absolutely liquidated. Even here on Ethereum, let's have a look. In literally a 1-day period, we're down over 20%. So in that, a 5x leverage position is where you just get absolutely crushed. Even coins like I just showed right at the start of the video was XRP Tether, and this was on Binance. So we can even compare in real time. Let's go XRP to Coinbase. So there we go. Look, Binance dropped to $1.50. Coinbase dropped to $1.78. Let's go over. We can have a look at Kraken. Kraken here dropped to $1.40. So it was a big opportunity, as I mentioned earlier. Let's have a look at Bitstamp. Bitstamp dropped to $1.59. So you can see live as I'm showing you, huge arbitrage opportunities. Now understanding that being KYC'd across multiple platforms, it has huge alpha. I really love Binance, but now Coinbase, Kraken, Bitfinex, Bybit, all these other exchanges, it actually has some value in adding them because, yeah, this arbitrage opportunity, I've never seen anything like this in crypto ever before. So really, really astounding with that. And even cover some other cryptos. So let's obviously go over the mother of all cryptos. We've got Bitcoin here. Now, one thing that it's definitely not completely bearish because all we've done is retest this 20 exponential moving average. And as you know, if you're familiar with my videos, the 20 exponential moving average is my favorite indicator to understand where the long-term slope, the long-term trend, is going. So the slope we currently have is a positive slope, which means the long-term trend, we only look for longs. Even here, we came down and retested a lot of this EMA. So overall, still bullish long-term, but this was quite a scary event. But it definitely actually shows me, especially after reading these news events, that overall, this was a liquidation event. Basically, there was huge arbitrage opportunities. I'm sure these firms made absolute billions of dollars this last 24 hours. Because now when we see, let's come over to the watch list, see Solana, let's actually add it right here. So let's show you in real time. I love doing these real time. So here we'll do Solana on Coinbase. So there we go. So let's look at the difference. We've got Binance right here, and then we've got Coinbase. So $1.82, 182.43, 182.38 or 25. So look, there's basically no difference. But in this comparison, which is the exact same, 183 to 199, never seen anything like it. Really, really crazy. So many opportunities in crypto. Still quite bullish. Even here we come over to Solana. Still quite bullish, but again, we're definitely coming down into the zones that we don't, any retest below this low is going to liquidate a lot of players. Even a lot of players had their stops right here, right here, right here. A massive amount of players got obviously liquidated. We're still spot long, but we're definitely tracking what is happening. Because if we get some major bearish news, it's definitely not looking good. The overall 4-year cycle, I don't usually show this chart, but overall currently we are in a right translated on the daily, which means overall we're still in that long-term bullish trend because we actually made a high on the right-hand side of the midpoint of this 60-day cycle. Still shows a decent probability to continue to the upside. And then we still have that one final cycle that I do believe have around maybe 90 days left in this bull trend. Still super bullish. So much more news to come out. Had this major liquidation event. But really, when we look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin barely moved. We compare it to a lot of these other cryptos. That's where the altcoin liquidation happens. So definitely want to be careful with leverage. If you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe because I'll be seeing you in the next one.